Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We are starting a new series on this channel called The Grind. We've been doing the tour for a little while, but there's a lot that happens in between events, a lot that happens behind the scenes to prepare me for these events, and especially right now, going through a grip change, going through a lot of changes in my swing and my golf game to try to raise my ceiling, raise my floor in the long term. There's been a lot of work going on behind the scenes that I kind of want to be able to document better on this channel. So The Grind is going to be where that happens. Basically, anything that happens in Palm Beach that isn't a golf tournament that is meant to benefit my golf game is going to be a part of this series. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope you guys enjoy especially this first episode where I'm going to introduce you to my new coach, Brian Simmons.
And if I didn't think that you could reach your goals and your potential, I wouldn't be doing this. You're trying to get as good as you can get, and you want to play for a living on the PGA Tour.
Yep.
Unless LIV gives you $450 million.
Unless 9:30 a.m. We just filmed a match with Henry Grillo this morning. The practice facility here reminds me a lot of my practice facility back home. I think that's why I'm kind of drawn to it. It's pretty simple. It's just got what you need, nothing you don't. It feels very homey. It's just a good place to get a good practice session in. Like the backside of the range, amazing for irons. Nobody's back there, nobody bothers you. So we're gonna do that a little bit today. Brian's gonna stop by and take a peek, see what's going on, look under the hood, help me out. I'm sure he's gonna be happy with the progress we've made in the last week, because last time I saw him, it was kind of rough. I mean, it's been rough for the last month and a half, but things have been on an upturn. And I'm excited to see kind of where this journey takes us over the next couple months. What's your name? What do you do? And how long have you been doing it for?
Gosh, well, I think I remember. My name's Brian Simmons.
Good.
Or this is what's left of me anyway. And I've been in the golf business since 1978. I've been teaching on the PGA Tour, Champions Tour, LPGA Tour, and everywhere in between for the last 45 years.
Who would you say, like if you had to name your top three biggest names that the people at home have heard of, who would you say are the three that you've worked with that everyone would know about?
Well, I've worked with Jeff Overton,
Okay.
Still am, Sean McKeel, who won the PGA, Craig Bowden, who is a great player on what's now the Korn Ferry Tour, and Jay Sigel was considered the greatest amateur since Bobby Jones, and he turned professional at 50, and I think he won 10 times on the senior tour.
Let's just go first lesson, because you met me a while ago. We never really played together, but with your first lesson with me, what were your first impressions?
Oh, here's another flat belly that can rip at 400, has no clue where it's going. Might go left, might go right, might go straight. That was my first impression.
Great.
But then as I got to watch you, and I could see that you really obviously had power, which is something in today's golf world you have to have. You've got to have power, but you also have to have accuracy. And I knew that how I go about teaching and the success that I've had with a lot of players like you, I could help you there. Yeah, you're a project, but I like projects, I like challenges, but I'm also a very realistic teacher and coach, and if I didn't think that you could reach your goals and your potential, I wouldn't be doing this. So I do think that with a lot of hard work, which I now know that you'll put the time in, I think you will get to your goals.
Subscribe.
Click that.
How was that?
That was good.
And how come I don't have a black hat?
Do you want one?
I think.
You want that one?
No, I don't want his hat.
Give him your hat.
No, I don't
Take
want
your
his
hat off. Give it to
no,
him.
sir, I don't just get me a brand new black hat.
Yeah, well,
Definitely.
I can get you all the hats you want. We have tons. And they're actually on sale right now for $25. So
now I got to buy a $25 hat. That's
now it's actually kind of a worse deal for you, because now instead of getting a $35 hat for free, you only get a $25 hat for free. That does suck. But it doesn't suck for you guys, because now they're on sale. If you have been on the fence about getting an Always Press hat, they're cheap.
Chemistry between a coach, a teacher, and a player is the most important thing. When you're learning from somebody and you're trying to buy in, as we say, you have to have this bond, this friendship, this communication, if you will, and you have to be on the same page. If you're an old school teacher like me that wants to create very solid fundamentals, and I'm not the most analytical teacher out there, and then you're trying to teach an analytical player, that can be a problem. What really inspired me to want to work with you is I saw that you're really smart and you've got a lot of ideas about what you wanted to do, and in a very short time I've been able to take you and give you different ideas about feel and setup and what you should be trying to do when you're making a golf swing versus analyzing every movement.
Yeah, and I'd say the feels, the nicest thing about what we've done together is it feels more like a golf swing now, and less like I'm forcing the ball down the line.
No, the videos that you've just sent me from Canada were really, really good, and it was very rotational, and you were maintaining your spine angle where your head wasn't going down as you were doing before, and pitching the ball I thought was, from where you were to where you are, was great, and I really, really like how you've adapted to my ideas on the putter. You roll the ball really, really good, and you're going to give yourself many opportunities to make putts.
This is Mama. She's 12 years old. She is scared of nothing. She's a badass. I think she just lives here. I don't even know if anybody feeds her. I'm starting to be able to contextualize everything you've been telling me. Like low and slow takeaway, get to the top, slow transition, allow the hands to drop, turn through. It just feels a lot simpler now. Starting to feel like I'm actually playing golf and not golf swing.
Well, look, we've talked a lot about it, and that's really important for you to be able to go just hit shots and play golf.
That was a little thin.
I like the tempo. The tempo's getting much slower, taking the club away.
Yep.
I think as you're pushing the club lower and longer, it makes the tempo slower anyway.
Yeah. And I kind of like the feeling of a moderate pace in the takeaway, and then slowing it down from here to here.
First 2 feet are going to be slow as the club drops.
Yep.
And then you're actually increasing the speed through the shot.
And I think that's the biggest difference with the weakening the grip, is the club has to drop. Before, with the strong grip, I had to keep it up because I had to do this.
Well, and it puts you in a position where your shoulder was down too much.
Yeah.
You're able to drop the club and then rotate through the shot.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's what makes it look so much smoother.
That was a little heavy.
So to me, that was just fast from the top. When your arms outrace your body,
yep,
the club's going to get steep on you.
And the biggest thing is feeling the lower body go first, because the more the lower body goes first, the more the arms drop. At least that's what I've
And I'd really like to see you get to a point where you go at golf shots about 70%.
Yep.
I don't think you need to go at it 100% on every swing.
That was better.
One of the big things that I believe in is that your left arm has to push the club back, and your left arm is very instrumental in leading the club back down, so you have the ability to hit with your right hand.
Yeah.
But I think that you led with your right side and your right hand so much from the top that created the inconsistencies. Pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, that was good. Anything you want to see? Driver, maybe?
Sure, we can see some drives.
Have I showed you this yet?
No, haven't seen this one.
New head cover.
Nice.
Brian's a fan of pressing.
Well, when we used to gamble a lot, if you're winning, you press.
Same thing here, just a lot of left hand.
Good rhythm. It was good.
A little bit lower of a ball.
I like the trajectory that the ball is coming off the golf club.
I finally feel like I can use the left hand to knock it down a little bit, which is the feeling I've been trying to get.
On a day, we're standing here today and it's blowing 25 miles an hour, it's overcast, and it's a hard day to play. Mm-hmm. And this is when you have to have what I've told you, go-to shots.
Yep. Shots
you can control the trajectory, knock it down underneath the wind. That was really good.
And I can feel the release too, which is something
Well, when the right hand's coming too fast, you've already released it.
Yeah.
Now with your left arm leading, you can feel the club. As I said to you on the phone the other day, the butt of the club starting to feel like it's going down the target line.
Exactly. Yeah.
The release then will happen pretty much by itself.
Exactly.
You're just rotating your body, and you're then in a position that you can keep that club face where you want it.
Yeah, and also just feeling it in relation to the back of my left hand has been massive.
Good tempo.
A bit overcut.
And the wind's going to accentuate the cut.
Yeah, that was really just like a necky 20-yard cut, and it turned into 35 with the wind.
That particular shot, to me, you hit the ball. The club wasn't swinging and releasing.
I feel like that one I rushed the arms.
Yeah. And that's why I said I want you to work at 70%. Low and left.
Low and left. I really led with the lower body on that one. That one actually, like, that's a fine miss, you know?
So the way to do it is as you're coming in to hit the shot, a lot of guys are trying to hit up on the ball to launch it.
Yeah.
I want the club to stay lower through the shot to keep that ball low out the chute. When he gets really fast from the top of the swing, especially when his arms are too fast for his body, that club is going to be coming up on him. And I want him to get where he can lead it back through, but keep the club head lower and through, a little more extension through.
Got that one to turn over.
That was good. So this next ball, I'd really like to see you go 70% at it.
All right. That's perfect.
That was really good.
Yeah.
So these little feels, these little keys that we talk about, you got to be able to play your tournament rounds of golf and not forget that. Not just step up and make a golf swing and hit a shot when the conditions are telling you you can't.
Yeah.
And even though that was 70% for you, that's 150% for everybody else. The one thing I really like about working with Ben is I'll give him some things, one or two, and he really picks up on it, and he's going to get it. And he's not going to leave here till he gets it. And I appreciate that discipline of wanting to get better, wanting to catch on to these ideas.
That was perfect.
So I think
that's exactly like the feeling I've been trying to get.
Yeah, it takes time, bud.
Yeah, it just took a month and a half. Starting to figure it out.
Guess what?
Now it's just a matter of whether or not it's going to work in tournaments.
It'll only work if you do it. How you change how you play in tournaments, you change by changing your thinking, and you can do it. Look, I believe in you. I think that this is going to be a fun ride.
What do you think I have to do best going forward? What has to improve the most going forward in order for me to get where I want to go?
Well, obviously, Jay Sigel, who I've taught for the last 13 years, what a great player he was. And when I was very, very young, I asked him, what's the most important thing that I have to do because I'm going to try to play golf for a living? He said, you have to hit it anywhere in play every time. He said, you do not have to knock every flagstick down, but you do have to hit it into the middle of the green. If you do that, and you do it enough times in a round of golf, you're going to have a lot of opportunities. So if you're really a good putter and you can make some putts, you're going to score every time. And your bad rounds are going to be 71 or 72 when you don't have your good stuff that day. So being a really good player from 100 yards and in, and then being really disciplined to hit it in play, hit the right club in play, and then hit it more into the middle of the green. And the other surprising thing is when you do that, when you hit it to the middle of the green, 6 or 7 times you're going to be 8 feet. Mm-hmm. And people don't realize that. The risk reward of going at a pin that's on the edge of a green and you short side yourself, and now you've made bogey or double bogey, and now you're fighting the rest of the day. You're trying to get that back. I like rounds of golf where they flow and you don't force it, you let it come to you.
As we all know, every great practice session starts with a great rest the night before, which is why these Vital Aminos and this sleep pouch are so important for making sure that I wake up rested the next day, and also making sure that I'm giving my body the building blocks needed to recover overnight so I can make sure I get back out to the golf course and crush another day of practice. Make sure to check out Momentous, link is in the description.
I feel like most of our putting lessons are like we have a putting contest and you just kind of give me tips throughout it. Is that accurate?
I guess so. Let's go ahead. I want to see distance control here.
All right. Speed's good.
Yep, go ahead. Better. We worked on him, number one, being still. So if you watch what we're doing here, his right hand is actually leading the putter through. His follow through is longer, going down the line, the intended line that he's trying to get the ball to roll, but he's staying so still he can hit it solid every time.
How do you feel about the putter he's using? Is that
look, you're asking the wrong guy. I have 5,000 putters in my office, so I think that this company makes a great putter. I think Lab's done a great job, and how do you evaluate that? Because look on the PGA Tour, how many guys are using it, and on all the tours. Yeah. And they're going to use the best thing they can to make putts. So I think it's a great putter. This particular one's smaller, and I think that's better. And the original ones were just a little bigger, and I think it was too big. And I know they've come out with another one.
Well, it's a prototype right now, but the Oz, it'll be out probably in the next couple.
And I think that's also going to be a good putter. But one thing these putters do that no other putter does is when you spin it, it's like a propeller blade. It just rolls.
So the issue that we kind of ran into, and the reason I went away from it for a little bit, was mainly I couldn't get it off the ground. I was just hitting it directly into the ground, which is how this grip helped. But I was having trouble lining it up because there's just so much going on behind the putter. But we've since kind of remedied that. I feel like we're more comfortable with it now. But the biggest thing is just how stable it is. And it's kind of hard to go away from this technology.
It doesn't twist.
Yeah.
You know, when you're standing there on a 6-footer that you got to make, knowing that when you swing a putter, it's going to stay basically at impact where you need it to be, and that's what it's about.
Yep.
You lost again.
Well, the issue was that I was hitting the ball straight into the ground. The blessing and the curse of this putter is it has automatic forward press. So on northern grass types and like honestly, the grain is less now that we're kind of getting into peak season. I was hitting the ball directly into the ground. I couldn't get the speed right. I couldn't get the line right because it's bouncing immediately. But since then, it's gotten a lot better. And part of that could be that I've been here for a little longer. Part of that could be just that
I think that he's learning how to putt on Bermuda grass, which is completely different than bent grass.
Yeah.
Something that I've been here a long time, since 1990. But the ball, when it's going toward the hole in Florida, always gets away from the hole.
Yeah.
And on bent grass, the northern grass that we all grew up on, the ball goes toward the hole, breaks into the hole. Well, you're down 2. We'll go down here downwind. I'm going to just let you know this probably is going to be fast, Ben.
Okay, thanks. So I'll be better. That last one I left way short.
We're going to find out.
So this one's downwind.
I believe that you can basically lean a little more left, put more weight on your left foot, which steadies your body. Keeping your head perfectly still and letting the putter stay as low back and low through as you can is going to get the ball to roll. And that's the first thing. I want to get my ball to be hit solid, and I want to get it to roll. There's a good one, Ben.
Do I get 2 points if I make it?
No. The strokes that Ben's making, you can see the flow of the stroke. It's not a hit. Most players, and I'm not saying good players, but golfers will hit putts and the putter head stops. And that ball, if the putter head gets to the ball and it's open or closed, ball's not going to get on line. Conversely, if say the putter's not quite perfect and you keep the putter head going down the line, the intended line, you can actually square it back up and get away with still hitting a pretty good putt. Look, putting is feel. You know, there's obviously fundamentals that go into a great stroke, but when you're standing over a putt and you're trying to lag a ball down there from 30 feet, it's feel. His putting stroke might be the biggest improvement that we've done.
I'd say biggest takeaway is working with Brian is just like best drill for me is right hand only putts. Right hand putts where I take a look at the ground underneath the ball for a couple seconds before I look up. That's been the best way for me to putt.
I want to get him to a point where we're standing here probably 40 feet.
Yeah.
I want him to be able to do this. I want him to have no fears that he can roll that ball up, 2-putt, get out of there and go on to the next hole. A basic player, if he adapts to some fundamentals, as we talked about, getting a little more left with his weight that keeps his body still, being able to keep the putter head low, being able not to grip the putter tight so you have more feel, keeping your head still and listening for the ball to go where you want it to go versus immediately looking up. You can take somebody that's not even a golfer and teach them to roll the ball and roll it on a line.
We're in your office right now, and there's a few golf clubs in here. If you want to just give, like, let's see your top 5 favorite golf clubs in this office. I know that's going to be really hard for you.
That's a hard question for me, or to even fathom. There's 5,000 clubs in here.
Correct, yeah.
I started a business in 1990 where I became one of the largest importers into Asia of classic golf clubs. So everything that you see here actually has a value on the classic market.
Yeah.
And there's quite a few putters off the PGA Tour. There's putters that have come from all over the world. You have a putter behind you, I would think that, let's see, is a really unique. I have a letter from the historian of Ping, and this is one of the first prototypes of Ping putters.
Lamkin deep etch, they got good taste.
Well, I don't know if that's the original grip, but the putter was. I did a show for CNN where they came in here. It was the World Golf Show, and we were on the putting green with putters from 1800 all the way through 8802s and Ping Answers and Scottsdales, and then this. And it was a lot of fun just to see how they could roll a golf ball with so many different types of putters, with weighting and length and what have you.
We're talking about a company that made the first blade, like what is considered a modern blade putter. They invented it, and that's the first one of those.
You just had your hand on Tommy Armour's wedge. That's out of his bag.
That looks like -2 degrees of bounce.
I've got Mr. Hamilton, my teacher's wedge, and I've got Byron Nelson's wedge in here.
I've seen basements with a lot of golf clubs in them, but there's just so much history in this room. It's pretty fascinating.
And even the literature, there's hundreds of golf books. And what's really cool is you can open one of these books and you can start to read, and you'll pick up ideas and fundamentals from 100 years ago that are still prevalent today.
We're chipping now. Chip, pitch, whatever you want to call it. This is Brian's wedge. I've been using it for a few weeks now. Yeah, it's more like an old style wedge. So this is more of a traditional style. I obviously didn't clean it very much, but.
If I could interject, it's not traditional at all. That's traditional.
Okay, well.
This is teardrop the last 20, 25 years.
So my entire life, I would call this traditional. This to me is like a newer shape of a wedge, which is
archaic.
Which is hard for him to hear because this is how he chipped for his first 20 years of his career. So it's just a different shape. It's got a different feel to it. It has 15 degrees of bounce, but I can still get it out of most lies. It's been an interesting experiment to see how I like it. Yeah, so.
Now, being serious, if I can say what the difference is, these wedges, he calls traditional, have a straight edge. There's some heel relief, but it's still a straight edge. It's harder to move the club around because it's a straight edge. When you have a beveled edge, you could move this club around and you could really get to where you could get to the ball.
I can visualize more shots with this face because it's got the different angles to it. If I open it up, I can still see the face pointing at the target.
Also, when you have a straight blade wedge, and his is a little upright, it's pretty easy to catch the heel. You won't ever really catch the heel of a beveled or rounded bottom wedge.
So what have you guys been working on?
Not that.
Trying to fix that. Yeah, that's been
trying to fix that. There's no remedy.
Well, now I'm gonna skull it on accident.
No, hold it.
You're right.
So here's what I've been working on with Ben. I believe that the path of a pitch shot or even a chip shot is never going to be inside. That's going to blow a lot of people's minds. This idea is your left is pushing and pulling the club, your right hand gets set or cocked back and does not release back into the ball. And the path that you're going to come into is going to be considerably across the ball. It's going to be a cut. I want him to hit this ball in the middle. This is, if there's a drill that I believe in, it's this one. He's going to come outside that ball and inside this one. He's not going to hit the back or the front ball. He's going to go across it and pitch it out of there by cutting it. Did you notice how that time there was no divot?
I like that contact a lot.
Yep. What I need you to do though is get a lot slower. You go at it too hard at the bottom, and you don't have to. Make it a constant rhythm. It's just going to be a lot more playable. You're not going to hit that shot that explodes. When your right hand catches up to your left, that's going to add loft to the club. Your right hand stays behind it a little bit. Too fast, go much slower. Much slower. And again, your eyes are staying focused on the back of the golf ball. Your body still rotates some, but your eyes don't come off that spot.
Oh. Well, okay, so why did I hit that ball just then?
As you went across was great, and then you went straight down the line. You didn't go across it. The only way for you to hit that ball is going straight through it.
Okay.
This is what I believe really good players do when they pitch balls.
I would have troubles with more straightforward shots. I could hit that high soft shot like nobody's business, but I couldn't.
Because you were releasing the club and releasing it up.
Yep, but now I can still hit that shot, but I'm also a lot better at the keeping the back of the left hand square to the face and just driving it down the line.
Yep.
It's a lot simpler. It stands up to pressure considerably better. That's all we care about. Yeah, well, pressure situations for anybody are going to be, and I guess we just talked about this earlier, the only thing that changes is the way you think, but there are situations where like you can't avoid nerves. I had a kid ask me this the other day. How do you deal with nerves in golf tournaments? You either embrace them or you quit, because you can't get rid of them. It doesn't work that way.
Everybody chokes a little bit. Everybody gets nervous. The great players know how to deal with it themselves. They found a way to deal with it. Everybody has to figure that out for themselves. There's no rhyme or reason or a straightforward answer. Perfect. That was slower. That was...
Contact was really good.
Contact was perfect, and you stayed there. You won't hit it. You won't hit it bad if I stay there. But as soon as I move, I can't hit it. I don't know where it is. How do you hit something you don't see? I say that to players all the time. How do you hit something you don't see?
The other thing you say a lot that I love is, because I think I said something like, under pressure I like to hit something hard. And you said, well, it should be under pressure, you like to hit something solid. And I stepped back and I thought about it, and I was like, okay, so my feeling when I'm under pressure should be something that if I overdo it, I'm just gonna hit it solid.
And think about this logically. The first thing in your mind should be hit that ball solid,
yep,
and then the result. But if the result's more important than the process or hitting it solid, most of the time you're not going to pull it off. To me, that's a shot maker. And that's one of the things that my philosophy with Ben, I want him to become a shot maker, not just a golf swinger. That was perfect.
That was perfect.
Yep.
Let's end on that one. All right, I thought it'd be fun because since I've been struggling with my game a little bit, since we've made all these changes as I'm adjusting, I've been getting a lot of advice in my YouTube comments. And I would like to hear what you think of some of these tips. Some of these aren't tips, they're just like mean. First we got is, worst thing you can do is change swing during a competition. Stop overthinking every shot, Ben. Misunderstanding with coach has mucked your confidence up. Your course management sucked. You were a big hitting champ in the past. You are now open-faced and weak-gripped. A change has to happen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anytime you're going to make a change, you're going to go backwards.
Yep.
You don't make changes and automatically become a better player that day. So let me be nice and just say, give you some time, give you a month, and let's see where you are then. I think that's a fair comment to him. That is
Mighty Albie said that. What I want to do is sprinkle in, because as I was going through looking for some of these comments, I found that like 98% of it is very positive, very supportive. So we got this one right here. You cannot know how much some random dude on the internet, wants to be able to say that I followed this guy when he was at his lowest ebb before his breakthrough season. Very nice.
I think that's great. And you know what? That's a fan of yours. That's a supporter of yours, and somebody that maybe understands that you're trying to get better and you're willing to do what it takes to get better. And it's not easy.
So in the same vein of what you just mentioned, Robbie154 says, I'm not a golf guru, and this wasn't really a mean comment. I think that he was genuinely trying to help. I'm not a golf guru, but one Bryson DeChambeau tip he continues to share with his training videos is, if a swing change doesn't work right away, just ditch it.
Don't agree with that at all. I think that you've got to give something a fair shake. From personal experience and playing for a living too, I know that when my teacher told me to do something, he said, we'll talk about it in 2 weeks.
HypeEnt500 says, for me it makes more sense focusing on swing changes instead of competing while working on a swing change. That is a lot of time and money wasted knowing my swing would not be good enough to finish high in the tournament. At least competing while working on a swing change can tell you how close or far you are from completing a swing change. So I think he's kind of trying to like come to my side a little bit, but his general thought seems to be it's a waste of time and money to play tournaments when you're working on a swing change.
Well, let's look at it this way, that you're working on swing changes or you're working on whatever you are. I think that when you put in some time on it, let's say a month, 45 days, and you really feel good about what you're doing, that's when you put it to the test and you go enter a golf event and see how it holds up under pressure.
Okay, so then I on it like this seemed to me like a genuine. This is why I brought this one to you, because I thought it might have had some merit. Would you say that going to play those 2 tournaments a couple weeks ago when I was a week into the grip change, would you say that was a bad idea?
In retrospect now, probably yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, because you weren't comfortable with it.
Yep.
And when you played the tournaments, you were going both ways. You were double crossing.
And at the very least, it did kick me in the ass and make me want to work a little bit harder, because it was tough. So Hype In, great comment. Turns out you're right. And in retrospect, probably shouldn't have played those tournaments.
I agree with him.
Yeah. We got Sven Lohman. Keep going, you legend. You are mastering your trade right now. The PGA Tour is where you should be. Keep fighting, keep vlogging. We are behind you. Thank you, Sven. Rika Baba 6671 says, Sam Hobson 4236 says, I love Ben Hadden. We support Ben Hadden grip change. I will be here until Ben Hadden wins the Masters. Ben Hadden stuff's too much to get to the UK though. I am sorry about that. Getting stuff overseas is always going to be expensive. Maybe eventually Always Press will have a fulfillment center in the UK or in Europe to where it's easier for you guys to get that stuff. But for now, I don't know what to tell you. It's being shipped out of our apartment at, not to say our address. Grip change is no good, Scott Avenir 720 says. David Duvall is proof. High, weak, spinny fades are not good.
I agree with them.
I do too.
High spinny, weak fades are no good.
They are no good.
So if we can grip it neutral and release the club, we won't hit that shot.
Great. So you say grip change is no good. Maybe grip change is good. But also, high, weak, spinny fades are not good. So I guess we can agree to disagree on a couple of these things.
Sure.
Brett Collier, 7906, says, stay with it, Ben. You are so close to it all clicking. You'll be signing a winner's check in the next few weeks. Stay positive, man. I'm here to root for you. Thank you, Brett.
That's a great comment. And you know what?
And 98% of them are like that.
He gets it.
Yeah, he gets it. This one I'm actually curious about, because I went back and forth with this guy a little bit, because I genuinely was, I wouldn't say it got in my head, but it got me thinking a little bit. But I think it's just too much to think about. Desdeny Danzy says, you need a grunt counter to realize how many times you're holding your breath during your swing. I cannot tell you how much tension that creates in your body, creating erratic swings. This is the second time I've tried to help you relax, so apparently he's commented this before. Exhale, then swing is a huge factor and game changer. In any sport, breathing correctly is massive. Enjoying your journey. Again, it sounds like he's like genuinely trying to help, and I don't really, I have no idea like if it actually makes a difference or not.
Well, let's talk about breathing.
Okay.
I don't know about the down breaths or the grunting, but I can tell you when you take a very deep breath and you hold it, and then you let out a little bit at a time, and a little bit at a time, it relaxes your body. And if you do it 2 or 3 times as you're walking down the fairway, after you've hit your shot and you feel a little nervous, it will relax you.
Okay. So I think what he's talking about is after a golf shot, when I'm finished up and I'm coiled and my diaphragm and my lungs are being twisted, I go, like some air escapes my lungs.
So the mic's right here.
Mic's right here, so you can hear it pretty loudly. Do you think that's something I need to focus on? Or is
No.
No. Okay. Great. Because I kind of had the same feeling.
No.
That's kind of what I thought.
I'm not going to worry about that.
All right. Untold Treasures 2024. Your lag putting is insane. Keep grinding. Great.
I agree.
And then this was awesome. AJ897. You and Bryson are the 2 main reasons why I bought new clubs and dropped all my other sports. Time to focus on golf. Let's go, AJ. That's the stuff I love reading. Like, that's why we started this channel.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's awesome.
09 Yuba said, quit pulling your trail shoulder back on your driver swing. Let the trail shoulder go down. And the reason I screenshotted this is because you've told me exactly the opposite a number of times.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, when you drop the club from the top and your arms just drop,
Yep.
your shoulder is going to drop some, there's no doubt about it. But if it keeps dropping, that's going to make you fall backwards a little bit, and it's going to make the club come down into the ground.
Yep.
Whereas you can't rotate the way you'd like to rotate. So I like your arms to drop,
Yeah.
your chin stays tall, and you start to rotate through the shot.
Yeah.
And that's what your golf swings have been looking like that you sent me, and I think it really is starting to look better.
Earl Bevin says, way to hang in there. You broke 80 while working on a major grip change and gale force wins. Thank you, Earl. It's like you understand how difficult it was. That's good to see. So it's easy to see you are not practicing. Nothing has changed. If you're not hitting 500 to 1,000 balls a day, then you don't have what it takes. In all caps, come on, man. I'm pulling for you. Hit the range, bro. So it seems like he has the right idea. He is trying to be supportive. He's trying to motivate me. James 6861 said that 500 to 1,000 balls a day. That's a whole lot.
I can tell you that my teacher was of the opinion that yes, he wanted you to hit 500 balls a day. Now, can your body sustain that? Can you do that and not hurt yourself?
Yeah.
So, and there was a lot of people that hurt their shoulders and hurt their wrists and hurt their hands. And I was lucky enough that, yes, I was one of those range rats, but I also learned that playing golf is just as important as beating balls, because playing golf teaches you how to play. And beating balls is working on a fundamental
Yep.
or two.
Can we address the "it's easy to see you are not practicing, nothing has changed" comment?
Well, if you want me to be nice, I would say that no, I don't agree with that. And I know that you're a hard worker because I've seen it. And even though we've only been working a short time, your work ethic is where it needs to be. How's that?
Thanks, Brian. Much appreciated. A couple times, you've seen me do it. I'll take one of those big buckets back to the back of the range and I'll hit all of them. And for me right now, especially going through a change, and I honestly think anybody at home should be doing this, you should be going through, and I don't know how you feel about this, but you should, every single shot, if you're like really trying to make a change in your golf swing, you need to go through a full routine. Every single shot needs a rehearsal. It needs to be like checked up on.
Whatever your routine is, you need to do it.
For me to go take that bucket to the back of the range and hit every shot with a full routine, it takes me all of 3.5 hours.
100%.
And now doubling that, we're talking about 7 hours just on the range every day.
Every day, though, between your practice, you need to go play 9 holes.
Yep.
And then when it's not working, or the weaknesses that you had or things that didn't work, you want to go ahead and go back to the range and work on those.
Yep.
And then if you have time, you play another 9 holes or 5 holes or whatever it is.
Yep.
And keep trying to work on those things that you believe are making you better.
This is another great one. Sean Owens, 8851. On Friday, I'm going to play my first round of golf. Your dedication to becoming better is part of my inspiration to finally go for it. It only took me 52 years. Stay the course, young man. Thank you. So a 52-year-old guy is going to play his first round of golf because of...
What a compliment.
Isn't that incredible?
You've inspired somebody, and I think this is why you're documenting your journey.
Absolutely.
You've inspired somebody that never tried to give it a go, and I think that's fantastic, and that's why you do what you do, or one of the reasons, but the real reason is you're trying to get as good as you can get, and you want to play for a living on the PGA Tour.
Yep.
Unless LIV gives you $450 million.
Unless LIV gives me $450 million, and then I will not be playing on the PGA Tour.
And I'm voting for that because I get my percentage. I really like that. So.
yeah. It's a great percentage, and that's it. So again, I just want to say like a big heartfelt. I was going through my comments looking for advice that I could run by Brian. What I found is the vast majority of the comments have been very positive, very supportive. I've honestly been avoiding comments during this time because it's just rough to go out there and play really bad and struggle through a grip change and struggle through a swing change and then go have to read everybody's opinion on it. That sucks. But what I've realized is most of you guys understand, and you get the journey, you understand what this process is like, and you understand that it's not going to be pretty at times. And thank you to everybody who has been on this right page, everybody who's been supportive. If you watch this video and you still think that I need advice from YouTube comments, I guess you can go ahead and we'll have Brian read it out. How's that sound?
I can't wait.
Can't wait.